What's going on, everybody? We've got a packed MLB slate on Tuesday, and there are a few spots here where the numbers really start to tell a story. We're going to walk through all of the MLB games happening today. I'm keeping this one focused on the matchups, the pitching, the recent form, and where the value actually sits. First game on deck, Houston Astros at Toronto Blue Jays. And this is a good one to start with because both teams come in with something to prove. Houston is only 3 games back in the AL West, and they're sending Peter Lambert to the mound in Game 2 of the series. Lambert is 6-4 with a 3.23 ERA, and he's been doing a strong job lately. He's coming off 7 solid innings against Detroit, and the Astros are 4-1 over his last 5 starts. Houston's bullpen is not the strongest, with a 4.64 bullpen ERA, but the offense has still been one of the better units overall. They're 12th in runs scored and 7th in slugging percentage, and they've got Alvarez in the lineup, so there's always power in this group. Toronto, on the other hand, sits at 38-39 and still has work to do in the AL East. They're handing the ball to Shane Bieber, who was 4-2 last year with a 3.57 ERA, and this will be his first major league outing of the season coming off the IL. That makes him a bit of a question mark in this spot. Toronto's bullpen has been decent with a 3.87 ERA, but the offense has taken a big step back compared to last year. For me, my best pick is Houston on the road as the underdog. Lambert has been reliable, Bieber is a wild card in his first start back, and I think Houston has enough offense to take advantage. Next up, Kansas City Royals against the Tampa Bay Rays. Kansas City comes in at 33-46, but they've won 4 of their last 5 and took Game 1 of this series. They're going with Lunder Ayla, who has a 5.50 ERA but just threw 5 2/3 innings against Washington, allowing 3 hits and 1 run. He's been throwing the ball pretty well lately, and that matters here. The Royals' bullpen has been a problem all year with a 4.82 ERA, and the offense has been uneven. They did have a crazy high-scoring stretch against the Cardinals, but overall they're 17th in slugging and 13th in on-base percentage. Nothing about this offense scares me. Tampa Bay is 43-32, but they've fallen off a little. Shane McClanahan gets the start, and he's 6-4 with a 3.33 ERA, but his last 3 starts have all been rough. The Rays' bullpen hasn't been great either with a 4.49 ERA. Offensively, Tampa Bay has some bright spots, but they're only 20th in runs scored and 26th in slugging percentage. My best pick is the under 8 here, and I also like Kansas City as the big road dog. Ayla has been throwing well, McClanahan has been shaky, and neither lineup is in a great rhythm. Plus 155 is a lot of value. Next game, the New York Yankees against the Detroit Tigers. The Yankees dropped Game 1 of the series 5-3, so they'll be looking to bounce back. Carlos Rodon gets the ball, and he's 3-2 with a 3.50 ERA. He had a rough start against the White Sox, giving up 3 earned runs over 5 innings, but this matchup is not exactly a scary one. The Yankees' bullpen has been strong with a 3.48 ERA, and even though the offense has been a little up and down lately, they still rank 1st in slugging percentage, 5th in runs scored, and 6th in on-base percentage. That tells you the talent is still there. Detroit is 34-44, but they've won 4 straight and have some momentum after sweeping the White Sox and taking Game 1 of this series. Casey Mize gets the start, and he's 2-4 with a 2.58 ERA. He's been giving them competitive outings, but the Tigers' offense has been rough overall. They're 25th in runs scored and 24th in batting average, and nobody is really swinging it well right now. My best pick is the Yankees here at minus 115. I think this line is giving Detroit a little too much respect. Rodon should be fine in this matchup, and I expect New York to avoid losing 2 straight in the series. Now let's go to Seattle and Pittsburgh. The Mariners are 40-39 and a game and a half up in the AL West. George Kirby gets the start. He's 5-7 with a 4.10 ERA, and although he hasn't been super sharp lately, Seattle's bullpen remains one of the best in the league. The offense, though, has been a work in progress. They're 21st in runs scored, 27th in batting average, and 21st in on-base percentage. That's not a great offensive profile. Pittsburgh is 39-39, and Mitch Keller gets the ball at home. He's 5-4 with a 5.25 ERA, and his recent starts have been rough. The Pirates' bullpen is nothing special, but their offense has been excellent. They're 4th in the majors in runs scored and top 5 in most offensive categories. The Mariners are minus 120, the Pirates are plus 100, and the total is around 8 or 8.5. My best pick is over 8 runs here, and I like Pittsburgh at home as the side. Seattle's offense hasn't been good enough to separate, and the Pirates have been much stronger at the plate this season. Next up, Texas Rangers at Miami Marlins. Texas just beat Miami in Game 1, and they're still trying to sort things out offensively. If it ends up being a bullpen game, the Rangers' bullpen has been top 10 all season, so that would help. The offense hasn't been great. Some of the other hitting numbers are starting to improve a bit, but this is still not a lineup I'm rushing to back. Miami is 40-39, and Sandy Alcantara gets the start. He's 7-4 with a 4.18 ERA, and he's coming off 6 innings against Philadelphia where he allowed 2 earned runs. He's been solid over his last 4 starts, and the Marlins bullpen has been excellent with a 3.33 ERA. Offensively, Miami is 16th in runs scored, 24th in slugging percentage, and 15th in batting average. Not explosive, but not completely lifeless either. My best pick is the under here. If you want a side, I'd lean Marlins at home. The pitching setup and the bullpen edge give Miami a decent path. Next we have Philadelphia Phillies at Washington Nationals. Philadelphia is 42-35, and Jesus Luzardo gets the start. He's 6-4 with a 4.20 ERA, but his last 2 starts have been better. He threw 7 strong innings against Miami and 5 2/3 strong innings against Toronto. The Phillies are also 5-0 over his last 5 starts, so that's a strong trend. The Phillies' bullpen has improved too, with a 3.89 ERA. Offensively, they've had some ups and downs, but they're still 19th in runs scored and 16th in slugging percentage. There are signs things are trending in the right direction. Washington is 40-38 and gets Zach Littell, who is 6-6 with a 5.45 ERA. He's had some tough outings lately, and the bullpen behind him has not been great with a 4.72 ERA. The Nationals' offense, though, has real ability. They're 1st in runs scored, 3rd in slugging percentage, and 14th in on-base percentage. My best pick is the Nationals as the home underdog, and I also think the over is live here. Luzardo has some volatility, Washington can score, and this feels like a game where both teams can contribute. Now we have Chicago Cubs at New York Mets. Game 1 was postponed, so we're looking at Game 2 here. The Cubs are 40-37, and Edward Cabrera is expected to get the start. He's 4-4 on the season with a 5.21 ERA, and he hasn't looked great since coming back from the injured list. His last start against Colorado was rough, and he's also had trouble against the Giants. The Cubs' bullpen has been solid enough with a 3.82 ERA, nothing amazing, but nothing disastrous either. Offensively, this team has gone through some rough stretches this season, even though they've had some strong runs too. Recently, the numbers have been mixed, but there was that 16-run game in there, which stands out a little as an outlier. The Mets, meanwhile, are 34-43 and still trying to get things right. Linder is close to a return, but he still has at least one more rehab game to go. They're sending Cotina to the mound. He's 0-5 with a 9.00 ERA, and his last outing against Cincinnati was rough. 4 innings, 2 hits, 4 earned runs, and a couple of home runs allowed. Control has been a big problem, and the Mets have lost all 4 of his last starts. The Mets' bullpen has actually been one of their strengths with a top 5 ERA, but the problem is the offense. They just haven't hit. Juan Soto has been swinging it well, but the team as a whole is 26th in runs scored, 28th in slugging, and 29th in on-base percentage. My best pick is Cubs at plus money here. Honestly, this price makes more sense to me than the line on the Mets. If both projected starters are on the mound, Chicago feels like the better play. Next game, Milwaukee Brewers against the Cincinnati Reds. Milwaukee took game 1 2-1, and now they're 5.5 games up in the NL Central. Brandon Sprout gets the ball here. He's 1-4 with a 5.94 ERA, and his last start against Cleveland was not good. He did have a solid start against the Athletics, and a decent one against Colorado, so maybe there's some progress, but I'm still not sold. The Brewers' bullpen has been really good with a 3.55 ERA, and the offense has been excellent over the season. They haven't been scorching hot lately, but they're still third in runs scored, fourth in batting average, and getting on base at a .340 clip. That's a strong profile. Cincinnati is 37-40, which is underwhelming considering how deep we're into the season. They're going with Nicolo, who is 2-2 with a 6.12 ERA. He's coming off an outing where he got shelled by the Mets, and he really needs a bounce back. That's easier said than done against Milwaukee. The Reds' bullpen has been one of the worst 5 in the majors, and that's been a major issue. Offensively, they've scored 14, 10, and 5 over their last few games, and Elly De La Cruz is back from the injured list, which helps. But they're still 22nd in runs scored and 28th in batting average. I like the Brewers a little bit here, but I'm not super aggressive with it. But my best pick is the over 9.5 runs here, especially with De La Cruz back in the mix. Next up, Cleveland Guardians against the Chicago White Sox. This one has been tight, and the Game 1 battle is tied 4-4 in the top of the ninth. Cleveland comes in at 41-37 and still sits in first place in the AL Central. Parker Messick gets the start, and he's been fantastic this season with a 7-3 record and a 2.70 ERA. He's coming off 6 innings of 2-run ball against Milwaukee, and overall he's been really reliable. The Guardians' bullpen has been decent with a 3.76 ERA, but the offense has not been great. They're 29th in batting average at .228, 27th in runs scored, and 29th in slugging over their last few games. That's not a lineup I trust to explode. The White Sox are 39-37 and staying in the mix. Sean Burke gets the start. He's 4-4 with a 3.89 ERA, and he's coming off 7 innings of 1-run ball against the Yankees. That's strong work. Chicago's bullpen is more vulnerable with a 4.30 ERA, and the offense still has room to improve. They're 14th in runs scored and 23rd in batting average, so they're not exactly rolling, but they're not dead either. My best pick is Guardians at -115. I also think under 7 and no first inning run are both reasonable looks. Next game, the Dodgers heading to Minnesota to take on the Twins. The Dodgers are 50-29 and took game 1 2-1. They're sending Justin Robleski to the mound, and he's been excellent this year. He's 8-2 with a 2.72 ERA, and he's coming off 6 shutout innings against Tampa Bay. Over his last 5 starts, he's been up and down at times, but overall he's been very good. The Dodgers' bullpen has cooled off a little, and the offense has been quiet recently. Minnesota is 38-42 and has been playing a little better lately. Joe Ryan gets the start, and he's been really strong this season at 5-3 with a 2.99 ERA. He's coming off 5 scoreless innings against Texas, and he's had some really good outings this year. The Twins' bullpen has been rough, though. It's been the worst bullpen in the majors by ERA, and that's a big issue. On offense, the Twins have actually been better than expected. They're 6th in runs scored, 8th in slugging, and 9th in on-base percentage. Byron Buxton has been hitting the ball well, and Josh Bell has had a strong season. I lean under 8.5 runs here because both starters have been solid. But my best picker is the Dodgers at -135. The bullpen gap matters a lot, and I still trust Los Angeles to get the job done. Next up, Arizona Diamondbacks and St. Louis Cardinals. Arizona is 39-39 and trying to bounce back after losing 3 straight, including Game 1 of this series. They're going with Eduardo Rodriguez, and he's been really good. He's 6-2 with a 2.45 ERA, and he's coming off 7 strong innings against the Angels. His start against the Reds was a little weird, but overall he's been excellent this season. Arizona's bullpen, though, has been shaky at 4.24 ERA. The offense has also taken a step back this year. They're 17th in runs scored and 26th in on-base percentage, with a .238 batting average. The Cardinals are 42-34 and still hanging around in the NL Central. Cowley gets the ball here. He's 5-4 with a 4.63 ERA, and his last start against San Diego was just okay. The Cardinals' bullpen has been mediocre with a 4.34 ERA, and the offense, while better in batting average and on-base percentage, is only 15th in runs scored. My best pick is Arizona at -105. I think Rodriguez gives them the edge, and this feels like a good bounce-back spot. Now let's go to Boston and Colorado. Boston is up 2-0 in the bottom of the 8th in Game 1, and they look in good shape. Sonny Gray gets the ball in Game 2, and he's been fantastic this year. He's 8-1 with a 3.12 ERA, and he's had strong outings against Toronto, Texas, the Yankees, and Cleveland. Boston's bullpen has also been one of the best in baseball all season. The issue, though, is offense. They're dead last in runs scored and 27th in slugging. They just haven't been scoring enough. Colorado is 30-48, and Sean Sullivan gets the start as a young lefty coming up from the minors. That makes him something of an unknown. The Rockies' bullpen has also been terrible, ranking 2nd worst in the majors. The Rockies do have some offensive numbers that look decent, including being 12th in runs scored and top 10 in slugging, but Coors Field always gives that a little context. My best pick is Boston to win, and I also think under 10.5 is value here. Gray should be in a good spot, and Boston's bullpen can help keep this one controlled. Next game, Baltimore Orioles against the Los Angeles Angels. Baltimore is already up 4-0 in the 4th inning in Game 1, and they've also had success in this road trip. Shane Baz gets the start in Game 2. He's 4-7 with a 4.04 ERA, but he's been better lately, including a strong 7-inning outing against Seattle. Baltimore's bullpen is not great, sitting in the bottom third of the league. The offense, though, has been heating up. They've scored 12, 3, and 5 over their last few, and they're 8th in runs scored, 12th in slugging, and 12th in on-base percentage. The Angels are 32-47, and Ryan Johnson gets the start. He's 0-2 with a 12.83 ERA, and he's been used in multiple roles without much success. The Angels' bullpen is also one of the worst in the league. Offensively, the Angels have had some decent stretches, but they're still only 21st in batting average and 15th in on-base percentage. I don't love either side, but if I had to choose, I'd lean Orioles. The number is a little expensive, though, so this one is more of a stay away than a strong play. Now to Atlanta and San Diego. The Braves and Padres are scoreless early in Game 1, and for Game 2 Atlanta sends J.R. Ritchie to the mound. He's 1-2 with a 4.54 ERA, and his last start was rough against the Giants, where he gave up 5 runs and 3 home runs. Still, overall, he's had a decent season. The Braves' bullpen has been the best in baseball this year, which is a massive advantage. Offensively, Atlanta has slipped a little, but they're still 7th in runs scored, 6th in batting average, and 4th in slugging. San Diego gets Griffin Canning, and he's been awful this year at 1-5 with a 6.64 ERA. He did have a decent bullpen appearance against St. Louis, but the overall season has been rough. The Padres' bullpen has been excellent, but the offense has been terrible. They're 2nd to last in runs scored and last in every major offensive category. The Braves and Padres are both listed around plus 100, and there's no total yet. I'm leaning Braves on the road. I don't trust Griffin Canning at all, and Atlanta has the better overall shape as a team. Last game, Sacramento Athletics at San Francisco Giants. The Athletics have lost 2 straight and are sending Aaron Zavala to the mound. He's 5-3 with a 4.91 ERA, and his last 3 starts have been rough. He did beat the Giants earlier this season, though, so that's something to keep in mind. The A's bullpen is one of the worst 3 in baseball, which is a major problem. But the offense has actually been strong. They've scored 7, 12, and 5 over their last few, and they're top 10 in runs scored and in every major offensive category. The Giants are 31-46 and turn to Robbie Ray, who is 5-6 with a 4.07 ERA. He just threw 6 and a third shutout innings against Atlanta, and he's had some very good starts mixed in with a couple average ones. The Giants' bullpen has been hit hard recently, and the offense has had some trouble too. They're 23rd in runs scored, though second in batting average, so there's talent there even with the inconsistency. I lean slightly Giants, but not enough to get excited about it. This feels more like a stay away than a bet. So that's the board. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who's betting these games tonight. It helps the channel a lot, and it lets me keep bringing you these daily picks and breakdowns. And I'll catch you in the next one.